Hi guys, welcome back to Geeks 40k channel and welcome to our latest Horus Heresy battle report. Today, the might of the Ultramarines are going up against the fallen brothers that are the Emperor's children. Rebute Gulliman himself is leading out his forces and he will be facing against his former brother Fulgrim today. So mission for today, we are doing Tide of Carnage. Which is basically, let's just kill each other. But there are victory points for the areas of the battlefield. So No Man's Land is worth 5 and each deployment zone is worth 7. And the way that you score these is by having more scoring units in them than your opponent. Now this being 30k, only your troops are scoring units. Apart from in this game, because we have super heavies and vehicle types of tanks that are also scoring units. HQ for the Ultramarines today, I am taking a Praetor in Tartarus pattern Terminator armour. He comes equipped with a Paragon blade. Second HQ choice, I'm taking a Chaplain. So this guy comes with a plasma pistol. It's pretty much stock apart from that. Over to troops, I'm taking a 10-man tactical squad. There is a Nuncio Vox in here and the Sergeant is upgraded to Artificer armour and equipped with a power sword. These guys will be riding around the battlefield in their trusty Rhino. It's exactly the same loadout for the second of the troop choices, and I actually have a third troop choice today, but these guys, exactly the same loadout minus a Rhino. Into elites, I'm taking the Invictaris Suzerain squad, so these guys will be accompanying the Praetor today. Lots of firepower being put down by my Contemptor Dreadnought with the Multi-Melter and a Power Fist. I'm also taking my second Contemptor Dreadnought as well, so this is the Mortis pattern with the Carius Assault Cannons. And finally in Elites, I am taking my Terminators. These guys are all equipped with their Chain Fists, but they will be foot slogging today. Into fast attack, I'm taking my Scimitar jet bikes. These guys are all equipped with heavy bolters. There is one Volkite charger in here, so these guys are looking at zooming around the battlefield, putting me lots of fire down and hopefully killing off troops. For air superiority, I'm taking my Xiphon Flyer. This thing is beautiful. I do love this thing in a good battle, so hopefully he'll be coming on and destroying any enemy flyers or ground targets. Into heavy support, I am taking my trusty Scorpius Whirlwind to lay down lots of shells on that traitor legion today. I'm also taking my Spartan. This has got armoured ceramite and a flare shield. So my Invictaris and my Chaplain and my Praetor will be riding around in that today. And finally, I am taking my Leviathan Dreadnoughts. This has got the Siege Drill, the Gravflux Bombard and the Phosphex launchers. Because I'm running the Onslaught Force Organisation chart today, I can take 2 Lords of War. So my first choice is Rebute Gulliman. This man is out. He is looking at slaying his former brother Fulgrim. He will be with the Praetor and the Invictaris Marines inside the Spartan today. So that's quite a big thumping close combat squad in a Spartan, looking at getting into combat nice and early. However, they will be supported by the second of my Lord of War choices, which is my Knight. This has obviously got the battle cannon on. House Von Her are taking to the field today to support their Primarch. So that is my 3,500 points of Ultramarines taking on the traitors that are the Emperor's children. But because I am running the Onslaught formation, I cannot take first turn or deploy first. I have to seize. Warlord for the Emperor's children today, we have Fulgrim. Because of strategic planning, he gets to pick his Warlord trait. And he chose Master of Ambush. So he gets to infiltrate 3 non-vehicle units and himself, which he's obviously going to choose to do. HQ choices for the Emperor's children. We have 1 Chaplain down here in Artificer armour. We also have a second Chaplain on a Scimitar jet bike. Third and final HQ choice, we have Eidolon himself. So into troops, because of the 3rd Company's right of war, the Cacophony Marines are troops. So we have 1 10-man squad and we have a second 10-man squad. And then we also have quite a large blob of tactical Marines that will be arriving on the battlefield in their Storm Eagle. Into fast attack, we have 4 land speeders, all equipped with multi-melters and grav. So we also have 2 javelin speeders. Now these equipped with cyclone missile launchers and Emperor's Children patterned multi-melters. So some filth going on here. Elites, we have a 10-man veteran squad in a Rhino. These guys will be outflanking. And we also have a 5-man Cadifracti Terminator squad equipped with chain fists, thunder hammers, power fists, the works basically. They will be arriving on the battlefield in the Spartan, which is equipped with the laser destroyer sponsons. And then finally into heavy support, we have a Leviathan Dreadnought that has the siege drill and the grav flux bombard. So that is the 3,500 points of traitor scum that is trying to kill off the Ultramarines. The land speeders are all at the back of the battlefield, hiding out behind the old Imperial Hopper complex. They are being supported by the Cacophony Marines and all the shots that these guys lay down. I am expecting these guys to kill themselves, however, because that's what normally happens with these. But they've got a nice line of sight open across the battlefield there. They are going to be laying down fire for the Spartan, which is containing Fulgrim and just a big world of nasty as this comes up the board. Now this has infiltrated, which is a lovely trait of the Emperor's Children, that they can just go, yeah, whatever, we'll just all move up a bit further. Leviathan Dreadnought slap bang in the middle of the battlefield. He has got options to go left or right. There is another squad of Cacophony Marines on top of the building. Again, nice open lines of fire across the battlefield. The chaplain on the jet bike has also infiltrated the might of the Emperor. The Ultramarines are hunkered down on their lines, waiting for the Emperor's Children to come closer to them, fully aware that we have lots of things in reserve. We have the first of the tactical squads with a Nuncio Vox hiding out in the forest at the back of the battlefield, waiting for things to come into line of sight. We also have the Knight ready to move up the field into the open ground. There's going to be lots and lots of fire coming because he is being supported by the first of my Contemptor Dreadnoughts and the Leviathan and my Spartan. So inside the Spartan, there is Gulliman and the Invictaris Suzerain squad. The first of my Rhinos is behind the building, ready to move up with the Contemptor Dreadnought. So is the second of the Rhinos. The Scorpius is hunkered down behind the building, waiting to lay fire down upon the enemy. And finally, we have the foot-slogging Terminators. Now, I have given implacable advance to my Scimitar jet bikes, and they will be deep striking into this battle. In reserve, I have my Xiphon Flyer. So because of Onslaught, it is the Emperor's Children to go first, unless the Ultramarines can seize, which I do. The Ultramarines have started their advance up the battlefield. The Terminators have moved 6 inches up, looking at the Emperor's Children Spartan. The Contemptors moved up. The Spartan, they are starting to pull round. They want this Primarch out. The 2 Rhinos at the back of the battlefield are just sitting there with their engine ticking over at the moment. I don't want them to go out too early because they will get popped. Yeah, it's quite a tough one, that is. On the left-hand side of the battlefield, the Leviathan, the other Contemptor, and the Knight have started their march up the battlefield. There's going to be lots and lots of fire, hopefully killing off quite a bit of the Emperor's Children forces. And finally, the last tactical squad have stayed in the woods. The Nuncio Vox has a clear line of sight at a few targets to help out with the Scorpius Whirlwind. My Knight opened it up with his battle cannon and his stubber at the Cacophony Marines that are up here, killing off 3. They then have failed their morale check and have ran back 8 inches, so they're on the way towards that board edge. My Leviathan and my Contemptor Dreadnought have ran because there's nothing really in range or target sight of these guys. My Spartan opened up with its las cannons at the other Spartan of the Emperor's Children, taking off a hull point. Then my Mortis Contemptor Dreadnought with his Keras assault cannons opened up, getting me a couple of Wrens. We are down to 2 hull points on the Emperor's Children Spartan already. I'm quite happy with that. The only other thing to fire this turn was my Scorpius Whirlwind, and I did target the other squad of Cacophony Marines. Unfortunately, I scattered and no damage done. The Chaplain on his speeder has moved up the battlefield. He's looking at getting into the Ultramarines tactical squad that are hunkered down in the forest. There seems to be a squad missing from this side of the battlefield. The Cacophony Marines failed their morale check and then ran off the board, which is the second time that's happened to Tom in a battle report on Geeks 40k in this corner of the battlefield. I think it might be jinxed. The slightly damaged Spartan has reversed. It's looking at getting its laser destroyers onto the Contemptor Dreadnought down here, hopefully taking him out for the Emperor's Children, because those rending shots did quite a lot of damage. He's also increased the charge range from my Spartan with everybody inside. The Cacophony Marines have stayed still on top of the building, and the land speeders are on the charge. They're on their way up the battlefield. The Emperor's Children jet bikes have sped their way up the battlefield in the shooting phase. Cacophony Marines up on top of the hoppers. Targeted my Terminators. They are all dead. Those things are nasty. I need to get rid of these. I've got rid of one squad. I need to get rid of the second. The Spartan opened up with his laser destroyers at my Contemptor Dreadnought. No damage done whatsoever. So this guy here has not performed yet. He's reversed. He's lost 3 hull points and done no damage to anybody. So well done, you. Leviathan Dreadnought opened up with his Grav Flux Bombard at the Knight, doing 2 hull points. The only other thing to open fire was the heavy bolters of the Chaplain's jet bike, opening up, killing off 2 of the tactical squad. The tactical squad that were hiding out inside of the forest are on the move. They are going to go into assault with the Chaplain. This guy becomes AP2 weapon on the turn that he charges, so I'm trying to deny him that by getting into combat. Artificer armor and a power sword. I'm hoping to pull him down. The Knight has moved up. Its battle cannons are properly trained on the Leviathan Dreadnought. My Scimitar jet bikes are on. They deep striked. They did scatter back a little bit, like 4 inches, but they're still there. They will be moving. The Contemptor Dreadnought's moved up. The Leviathan has smashed his way through the ruins of the building. Again, looking at the Leviathan Dreadnought. So there's going to be quite a lot of shots coming down on this guy this turn. The Ultramarine Spartan has moved up. Its las cannons are trained on the Emperor's Children Spartan. So are the Chaos Assault Cannons of the Contemptor Mortars Dreadnought this turn. The only other thing to move are the 2 Rhinos. They have started their advance up the battlefield. So if you control your own deployment zone, it's 3 victory points. No Man's Land is 5 victory points. The enemy's is 7. So this is what I am now trying to do. Let's get up. Let's get into the Emperor's Children's deployment zone. Let's control this battlefield. The tactical squad getting ready to go into combat. Opened up with their bolt pistols. Killing off the Chaplain. His speeder has slammed into the floor and is exploded in a big ball of flames. These guys, I think a little cheer might have to go through the Voxnet as they have killed off the danger close to them. The Imperial Knight opened up at Leviathan, and so did the Ultramarines Leviathan. No damage done to the Emperor's Children Leviathan at all. Quite annoying. He is stuck in the Grav Flux, but he's just going to kind of walk out of that. The Scimitar jet bikes have moved up in the shooting phase. They are now in the enemy's deployment zone. With Implacable Advance, they count as a scoring unit, so we are contesting this area. The Spartan and the Mortar's Contemptor both opened up at the Emperor's Children Spartan. No damage this turn, so this thing is alive. It's still on 2 hull points. And unluckily for Tom, the Nuncio Vox inside of this Rhino could see out of the hatch at the Cacophony Marines right at the back on top of the hoppers. The Scorpius Whirlwind opened up with his shells, literally screamed them across the battlefield. They went to ground to get a better cover save, but 3 of them still died, including the guy in the Artificer armour. So they have passed their morale check, so that's better for Tom. Well done. So yes, I need to clear these guys off. I need to get rid of any tanks out of the enemy's deployment zone. All of the reinforcements for the Emperor's Children are now on the board. The Rhino has come on outflanking right in the edge of the battlefield.
The veteran squad inside are staying in because he knows that the templates from the Scorpius would probably rain down on their head if they did get out. The speeder squadron are all the way round the side of the building looking at the Contemptor Dreadnought. They have grav guns and multi-melter, so they should make short work of that Contemptor Dreadnought. The Spartan has moved up and deposited his cargo, so Fulgrim is out, the Terminators are out, and the Chaplain is out, looking at going into the Spartan, forcing Rebute out if they can destroy his vehicle. Leviathan Dreadnought has stepped around the back of the building looking at my speeders. They are looking quite vulnerable with the grav flux that will be raining down from this guy here. The Storm Eagle is also on the battlefield now. With its multi-melters, it is looking at the Knight, but is also being supported by the Javelin attack speeders with their multi-melters at the rear armour of the Knight. I've really got to work out where I'm going to put my shield. I can possibly stop one or two, but then whichever side I don't put it on, there's more multi-melter shots. That was a big round of shooting from the Emperor's Children. They've come on in force and they've hit, and they have hit hard. The speeders have opened up with their grav and their multi-melter. Basically, my Contemptor Dreadnought is now stunned. It is also immobilised, and I'm down to 1 hull point. The Spartan has split fire with his laser destroyer, so the left-hand sponson opened up at the Rhino containing the tactical squad, blowing that sky high and killing off one guy in the resulting explosion. The right-hand sponson took a cheeky shot at the Leviathan Dreadnought through the rubble of the building, blowing it up. It is gone. It is no more. The Emperor's Children Leviathan opened up at my Scimitar jet bikes. No damage done there. But I think the biggest news this game is there is a massive crater where the Knight once stood. It took fire from the Storm Eagle. The melters from the Storm Eagle actually opened up at the Contemptor Dreadnought, but no damage done. The Javelin attack speed has also opened up at the Knight, causing that to go Titanic. It scattered back. I only managed to glance one of the speeders in the resulting explosion, so that was quite a big turn. I do think we are going to get some combat. My Scimitar jet bikes have gone. They were ran in to by the Leviathan. One was actually pulled down to the Hammer of Wrath, and then the Siege Drill made short work of the remaining two. The Ultramarine Spartan has gone. It was charged into by the Terminators and Fulgrim. The Chain Fists of the Terminators making very short work of the armoured hull. But we now have Rebute out, the Invictara Suzerains protecting him with a wall of shields, the Chaplain and the Praetor with a Paragon Blade. They are going to be going into combat next turn. My Xiphon Flyer is on. The last of the reserves are on for the Ultramarines now. This is going to be taking out, hopefully, the Storm Eagle with its Xiphon rotary missile launches, las cannons. I'm hoping it will do the damage that I need it to. The tactical squad on the left-hand side of the battlefield, fresh from their victory over the Chaplain, have moved round. They're going to look at shooting into the Javelin speeders. The Contemptor Dreadnought with his melter is also looking at targeting these speeders. The Rhino has moved up another 6 inches. I probably am going to move it another 6 in a minute, to be honest. Yeah, maybe. I might leave him there this turn, actually. There is a Storm Eagle and a Leviathan. I might leave him there. The tactical squad that were blown out of their Rhino last turn have moved up. They were not pinned, so they are good to go. Now, I've moved them up in between the building. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and charge them into Fulgrim first, forcing the Overwatch shots onto these guys before Gulliman and the Invictara Suzerain squads enter into combat. The tactical squad behind the Javelin speeders opened up with their bolters rapid firing. I did open up with my Rhino first though, so I could get to reroll any ones thanks to being an Ultramarine, and only managed to do 1 hull point, which is actually done by the Contemptor Dreadnought with his multi-melter, so that was a bit of a fail. The Xiphon Flyer opened up at the Storm Eagle, taking off 2 hull points? 3 hull points. It is also vector locked and it's crew stunned, so there is nobody coming out of this anytime soon. The Scorpius Whirlwind put its shots down onto the Landspeeder Squadron, causing 1 more hull point down here. I managed to get a hit and then a flip as well, so I managed to get I think it was about 6 hits. Only managed to do 1 hull point though, so that's a little bit annoying. They are still there and still in total numbers as the start of the game. My Contender Dreadnought that is immobilised opened up with his snap firing. Managed to get 2 6s, which become Wrens, and managed to take off the last 2 hull points of the Spartan. The Terminators were opened up at by the Tactical Squad and the Horus Marines and Gulliman and the Chaplain, and 1 Terminator fell. We're going to do something new on Geeks 40k. Because we have got a Primarch versus Primarch fight, we're going to include the dice rolls. So Fulgrim will be going first because he's higher initiative step than Gulliman this turn, and he will be hitting me with the Blade of Lair. So he gets 7 attacks this turn. He gets 5 as standard, and then he gets 2 extra for being 2 initiative steps higher than Rabute. It is weapon skill 8 for Fulgrim, weapon skill 7 for Rabute, with rerolls because we have chaplains. It's probably a good thing, Tom. Which is another hit there. So we've all 7 have hit. So Fulgrim is strength 6 and Gulliman is toughness 6. So what have we got wound-wise? Well, there's quite a few. There's 4 wounds. It's an AP2 weapon, so I have to roll on my invuln save. So that's a 4 up, re-rolling the first failed one. Wow, that was shit. And that's still shit. Well, that was some terrible dice. So Gulliman has taken 2 wounds, but I am going to hit him back with Rabute's Power Fist. I need to hit Fulgrim on 4s. We have got 3 hits, but we get to re-roll them because of the Chaplain. There's still only 3 hits. And then wounded on 2s. So we have 3 wounds. So Fulgrim normally has a 5 up invuln, but in combat it goes to a 3 up. And we make all of them. That hurt. Gulliman does get a better weapon skill next turn. So every turn he's locked in combat, basically his weapon skill goes up by 1. So next turn I'll be weapon skill 8, same as Fulgrim, and then weapon skill 9, and then weapon skill 10 if needed. But yeah, that was some poor dice rolling. So at the end of the combat, Rabute did not go very well. He obviously didn't do any damage to Fulgrim. The Suzerains, the Praetor, and the Chaplain, however, murdered the Terminators and the Chaplain. My tactical squad never got to hit, but they got into combat first. They did soak up the Overwatch, which is quite nice. But the way we've worked this out is that they have actually failed combat, so failed morale checks. They have ran back, but they will automatically rally on a 10 next turn, so that's all fine. So, into Emperor's Children turn 3. Can the Suzerains kill off a Primarch? Most of the action for the movement phase for the Emperor's Children has been in my own deployment half on the right hand side of the battlefield. So the veterans are out of the Rhino. They are looking at shooting into my tactical squad, and also the Land Speeder Squadron. I think they've had enough of the Scorpius Whirlwind, so they are round the back of him looking at the rear armour. The Javelin Speeders have also moved around. They are looking at possibly the Contemptor Dreadnought or the tactical squad that are just kind of poking out through the ruins of the building. Leviathan Dreadnought right at the back of the battlefield has also moved forward 6. This poor little guy down here is just in range of the Grav Flux Bombard. Leviathan Dreadnought opened up at my Contemptor, hit with the Grav Flux Bombard, but no damage done. The Javelins actually opened up at the Xiphon Flyer, causing me to jink, but no damage done to that either. The Cacophony Marines have ran back. They only managed to run back 2 inches. The reason was my Contemptor Dreadnought is looking like it's in range with his Horus Assault Cannon, so they have moved back, trying to get out of that fire. The only other thing to happen this turn was the tactical squad that were falling back have been opened up at by the veterans of the Emperor's Children, and they were killed off. So that is all the shooting. Oh no, there was also the Scorpius Whirlwind lost its bolters and taken down a hull point from the Land Speeders, but this thing is still free to fire. So, as we head into the second round of combat, Rabute now becomes weapon skill 8. So, Fulgrim needs to hit on 4s. Same amount of attacks, 4 attacks. But you got to hit me on 4s now, Tom.
So, 7 attacks.
7 attacks. Ooh, there's quite a few in there. Only 2 misses. And then we need 4s to wound. Ooh.
Only 2.
2 wounds. Could be enough. I've just rolled my invuln saves for Rabute. Managed to save 1 and fail 1. Re-rolled it, and I rolled a 1 again. So Gulliman He's down to 1 wound, but it's my turn to hit Fulgrim. So, I now have 5 attacks on Fulgrim, and I need 4s to hit. Which, I get 1. What a terrible roll again. I'm hitting with a power fist, so I need 2s. It's a wound. Now, if he doesn't save this... He hasn't saved it. It's a 1. It's a wound on Fulgrim, and it's concussive. So that means that Fulgrim will be hitting at initiative 1 next turn. Now it's time for the Invictara squad, the Chaplain and the Praetor, to lay down some whoop-ass on Fulgrim. So, the Praetor and the Chaplain have done no damage, and I have just rolled my Invictaris guys, and that is my pile of wounds. I've done 5 wounds on Fulgrim. It is an AP2 weapon. Tom needs to save these. So, Tom needs 3 ups with Fulgrim for his invuln save. Go on, Tom. So let's kill off Fulgrim. And they are all saved. God
Venetian protects.
damn it. The tactical squad on the left-hand side of the board have had to start their march up, really. I need to get these guys into the Emperor's Children deployment zone, at least to contest the 7 victory points that are up for grab, or if not, take them for myself. My Contemptor Dreadnought has moved out of the Gravflux Bombard. It's looking at the speeders, maybe going into combat, maybe meltering them as well. My Xiphon Flyer has moved up. This guy has got his eyes set on the Cacophony Marines right at the back of the board, with the Contemptor Dreadnought and his Curious Assault Cannons all the way down here, looking at them as well. I'm thinking my Scorpius could land a template here trying to kill off some of these veterans, or the Leviathan Dreadnought, because that is quite scary and is firming up that side of the battlefield for the Emperor's Children. There's just too much purple down here. The Contemptor Dreadnought opened up with the multi-melter, taking off one of the Javelin speeders. I am going to try and get into assault with it and finish it off in combat. Tactical squad on the left-hand side of the battlefield have ran up 3 inches. Obviously, Rebute is locked in combat. My Xiphon Flyer opened up at the Cacophony Marines, doing no damage. My Contemptor Dreadnought also opened up with his Curious Assault Cannon, killing off 1. So there's 1 less over there. I think the story of the game was my Scorpius Whirlwind. He opened up at point-blank range at the veteran squad that were down here and killing them off. The entire squad has gone. Well done, Scorpius. So we're back into assault with Rebute and Fulgrim now. It is Rebute to go first this turn because of concussive last turn, and I'm going to be choosing to hit with my sword and not my power fist. I am now weapon skill 9, so I'm hitting on 3, so I've got my 5 attacks. Hitting on 3s. Oh, really? My dice rolling today is appalling. So I have 2 hits. I'm hitting on 3s with a reroll thanks to Shred, and I don't need the reroll. So, here we have 2 wounds.
2 3-ups.
2 3-up saves from Fulgrim.
Fuslanesh.
6 and a 1. He's taken a wound. So, the Praetor, the Chaplain, and the Invictaris Suzerains have all hit. No wounds done to Fulgrim, so it's now his turn to hit me. He only gets 5 attacks, and he's hitting me on 4s. So go on then, Tom, roll me some dice. Hit me on 4s. We've got 1, 2, 3 hits.
Take it. 4s to wound.
4s to wound me.
4 Fulgrim.
1, 2 wounds. We have 2 wounds. Got a 4-up save. First one is okay. The second one is okay. And then there is also It Will Not Die. So let's see if I go a wound back, which I do. So Gulliman is back up to 2 wounds. The Contemptor Dreadnought made it into the last of the Javelin speeders and just easily destroyed it. The speeders have all come round the back of the Scorpius Whirlwind. I get the distinct impression after watching the veteran squad get absolutely blown to pieces by this vehicle. They don't like it anymore and they want it gone. The Rhino has backed up. The Cacophony Marines have moved down off the hoppers and are now walking at the back of the battlefield. Now I really need these guys dead, to be quite honest. I need to take this half of the battle table. I need to get into my enemy's deployment zone and not contest it, so I need these guys dead. Leviathan Dreadnought has moved up. It is looking at the Contemptor Dreadnought and possibly going into combat. That's a little bit harsh. We also have the Storm Eagle back on, possibly looking at popping the Rhino. I think it's probably one of its only targets, I think. But it is on with its one hull point. The Xiphon Flyer is out of range really now to do any damage to this unless I take it off and bring it back on in turn 5. Contemptor Dreadnought has gone. The Leviathan opened up with the Grav taking off the rest of the hull points. My Rhino has also gone. Had the tactical squad in. The Storm Eagle has popped that one. That's really annoying. I think I'm going to have to take these back into my own deployment zone just to at least firm up that area for me. Scorpius Whirlwind has also fallen. That was from the Grav. The Melter actually let down the gunners inside of these speeders, not really doing any damage. I think he took off like one hull point, and then the Grav just completely and utterly minced it. And then finally the Cacophony Marines have ran, so these guys have just hunkered down behind the hoppers, fully aware that the Xiphon Flyer is incoming. We're back into the combat with the 2 Primarchs. Now, because I hit with my sword, I didn't concuss Fulgrim, so he is hitting first, and he gets his extra attack, so he's 7 attacks, but hitting me on 4s. 1, 2, 3 hits. No, that was 4 hits. And then we need to wound on 4s again. 4 wounds. So I've got 4 wounds to save on Rabute, and it's a 4-up invuln save only, re-rolling the first fail, which is that one. So re-roll that. No, he takes a wound. He's down to 1. So the poison blade that killed Gulliman off has struck again. It is a repeat of history, and that kind of happens. So the 2 wounds that spilled over from Rabute have gone on to my Terminator. I managed to save 1. Unfortunately, he's down a wound. My Invictaris squad have hit, and I've done 4 wounds, so Tom needs to make 4 saves.
Fulgrim protects. He does.
Which he does. The tactical squad have moved up the edges of the battlefield, looking at getting into the deployment zone. I am going to have to run these. This is the end of the game. There are no more turns after this, so these guys will need to run. The tactical squad that were blown out of the Rhino last turn have turned round and headed back towards the deployment zone. Again, I am going to have to run these guys. There is a Emperor's Children Rhino that is claiming 7 victory points, so these guys need to come back to stop that from happening. Obviously, these guys are all locked in combat, and this guy is immobilised. But the Xiphon Flyer has moved up. It is looking at hitting the Cacophony Marines round the back of the hoppers. So these guys need to run. I am going to roll this on camera. So these guys literally need like a 1-inch, 2-inch run move. It's a 2-inch. They are going to be in. The Xiphon Flyer opened up at these guys. Now, they did go to ground, so there was a 3-up cover save. The las cannon shot did a wound. Save that. And then my Xiphon rotary missile launchers. I rolled a snake eyes. Well done, me. This tactical squad here also need a 2-inch run move. They get a 6. So we're now back into assault with the 1 remaining Primarch who has issued a challenge. The Praetor has accepted this time. He's just seen his Primarch fall in combat. So this time, Tom will get 8 attacks. Tom needs 3s with Fulgrim to wound me. That's not overly the greatest roll there, Tom. So this is wounding my Praetor on 2s. Which, of course, you roll 3 of them. So the Praetor was pulled down, and unfortunately so was one of the suzerains. So I'm going to attempt to hit him quite hard. So the Chaplain now has 4 attacks, and I'm hitting on 4s and wounding on 6s, which is a bit annoying. So hitting on 4s, 2 hits, and then I'm obviously wounded on 6s. No 6s from the Chaplain. So it is down to the suzerains now. So the 3 attacks each. There's 4 guys in here. I need 4s to wound, but 6s automatically with Cutting Strike. And there are no 6s this turn. Happy days for Tom. So out of the 5 hits, I'm going to need 6s to wound. There's 1 wound. Come on, Tom, foul that save for me.
The Fulgrim.
The land speeders have come around the back of the battlefield. They're looking at mowing down the tactical marines that are contesting this area of the battlefield. I'm hoping that these guys can survive, but Melter and Grav, It's going to be a tough ask. Leviathan Dreadnought has also moved around. I'm sure he can probably see my tactical squad through the little windows and the gaps in the trees. So there might be Gravflux Bombard landing on these poor guys as well. And then just to make sure that my tactical squad that are now inside the Emperor's Children deployment zone, we have Eidolon. Eidolon has made an appearance with his full complement of tactical marines, looking at going into combat with the Ultramarines and, well, probably murdering them. The tactical squad that were holding the deployment zone for me have died. They got opened up at by the Land Speeders, Leviathan Dreadnought and the Storm Eagle. So they only just died. There was the Artificer Armour Sergeant left, but he was pulled down by the Melters from the Land Speeders. So that is now clear for the Emperor's Children. Fulgrim managed to kill off 3 of the suzerains and put 1 wound on the chaplain. But again, because I am fearless, these guys are not running anywhere. No real big surprise. Eidolon and his tactical squad have made short work of the Ultramarines tactical squad down here. Overwatch, nobody was pulled down. So there we go then, guys. That is the end of the game. It is a victory for the Emperor's Children. They have won that one 12-0 on victory points. They hold their deployment zone for 3 victory points. No Man's Land is contested. My Invictara suzerains with Implacable Levants and the tactical squad that come out, the Storm Eagle, both holding that, so there's no victory points there. My deployment zone is held by a tiny little rhino held in the corner. So that is 7, so that's 10. They also get Slay the Warlord, and they also get Last Man Standing. Okay, guys, just going to do a post-battle wrap-up, really. So we're going to go through what went well, what went badly for our armies, and kind of what would we do differently. You won, Tom, so do you want to go first?
Yeah, I did win. Thanks for that, Rich. You put up a good show. Some beautiful models.
Thank you.
And it was a pleasure to roll dice against you. That actually rolled well. What went well? Fulgrim.
Yeah.
He turned out to be an absolute melee monster. Passed a lot of rolls.
He did.
The other things that did really well, I think the Land Speeders.
Yeah, they did quite good today.
They made their points back. The Javelins, though, for me, are the man of the match.
Yes, I'd say so as well.
Because they tickled your knight.
They did more than tickle it.
And then they focused quite a lot of fire on them. But I don't know, Leviathan as well that actually made its points back this game. For me.
That Leviathan was quite scary in this game. It kind of owned that corner of the battlefield, and it meant that I couldn't really get there. It was really putting me off sending my rhinos up that end of the battlefield. So what went badly? I've got 2 units in mind for you that went quite badly.
I think what didn't go well, my Spartan, I did alright, killed Leviathan.
It did with a very lucky shot.
My main unit, Storm Eagle, almost died, killed everything.
Yeah,
which would have been game-changing. But also, did the vets make their points back by killing that tactical squad? I'd say it's between my 1 unit Cacophony that ran off the board.
Yes.
First turn.
Always
done it in that corner. It's twice now, folks.
It is twice.
Yeah, but I think actually... these are your thoughts, actually. What didn't go well?
For you, your units, your Cacophony Marines that ran off like scaredies, and your chaplain on a jet bike.
I forgot about him.
Your chaplain on a jet bike that got pulled down to bolt pistol fire, not bolter fire, not rapid fire, just bolt pistols, and he died.
It was 4 wounds, wasn't it?
It was
the
4 wounds.
Save.
That's the one, and you failed them. And he died.
Yeah, that was...
I'd say he did quite badly.
The plan was just move him up, because he's fearless, blob them down, pretty much, and he'd take a few off, maybe a turn.
Yeah, he would
Charge him in, hopefully sweep you, because I've done that before.
Yeah.
But no, Bolt, you were going to charge me, weren't you?
I was going to charge you. I even said, I think I actually said in the battle report, I was going to charge you to stop you getting your AP 2.
Yeah, with the Phoenix Spear.
With a Phoenix Spear. So I was going to take the initiative and attack you. And so I opened up with bolt pistols and killed him.
No, the reason I brought him is I'd painted up some other stuff, but they weren't ready. So I had a 160 point gap. So I was like, who can I fill it up with? I can bring more tactical marines than the Storm Eagle. Actually, no, I'll bring a chaplain and a jetpack. Just to distract. And he went down to bolt pistol fire.
He did get down to bolt pistol fire. Well done, well done. That guy's ace. For the Ultramarines, what went well? Tom. The Xiphon Fly did okay. The Xiphon Fly almost killed your Storm Eagle. It almost killed off the Cacophony Marines, but because you kept going to ground means the 3-up cover save was a lot better. Leviathan Dreadnought was pretty rubbish today.
Yeah. I mean, that was unlucky.
It was.
That was really unlucky.
Actually, I think my man of the match is going to have to be my Mortis Contemptor Dreadnought with the Chaos Assault Cannons, because he pretty much took out your Spartans single-handedly.
Oh, with those Wrens.
With the Wrens. They were brilliant.
He got 4 Wrens.
He got 4 Wrens. It was amazing
4
shots.
points.
Or the Invictaras, Suzerains.
Yes.
Because they literally
wiped out Terminators.
wiped out the Terminators, they wiped out your Chaplain.
Lucky not to do more Fulgrim.
And I actually thought they would kill Fulgrim.
So did I.
But it just turns out that my dice rolling let me down towards the end of that combat phase, really.
Your dice kind of did a roller coaster this game.
Started off okay.
Yes.
I even seized the initiative. I was quite happy with that, and then it just fell off a cliff.
Yeah, I've been there. I know what it's like. I'm on my 3rd therapist for dice rolls, and I put Forge World dice. 32 of them.
32 Forge World dice.
I have 2 packs of 16. Start with 1 pack, and then halfway through a game, you'll see me swap to another pack, because I'm really tempted to melt the first lot. But if anyone wants to buy them off me, I'm putting a shout out.
Yeah.
There's a pack of 16 dice that if you ever need to roll leadership tests, apart from on Cacophony in the corner of your board, are really good.
They're really nice dice, apart from that purple, and they've got this horrible Emperor's Children logo on them. They're really nice. Apart from that, the Aquila, but it's still the Emperor's Children main logo on it.
His children.
Yeah, okay.
But no, don't forget your Whirlwind.
Oh, my Scorpius Whirlwind
did stuff.
My Scorpius Whirlwind did very well today. It normally does in every battle. I think Nuncio Voxes across the battlefield helped. That's the first time I've really ran them like that. And they helped out a lot. Killing off that veteran squad right by it was brilliant. That was excellent.
You're lucky with the land speeders, because I got very lucky with the Jinx.
You did. My knight killing off your Cacophony Marines in the first turn. I thought, yes, here we go. This will be a game for the knight. No, it didn't happen, and that probably let me down the most, actually.
Yes.
I think that knight was probably quite a lot of point sink.
What was it, like 375?
Something like that, I think 375 points for something that killed off a Cacophony squad and then died. Not the best. But Gulliman, Rabute Gulliman.
In fairness, if you didn't have Rabute there, your Scissorine would have died. That squad would have gone.
Yeah, they would have done. And I think taking 4 wounds... was it 4 wounds in the first round of combat?
It lasted 3 turns.
It lasted 3 turns, and I was down to 2 wounds after the first round of combat.
Your first round.
So Gulliman to survive 3 rounds of combat was actually quite good. He's not the best Primarch out there. He's probably one of the best looking.
Yeah, certainly your opponent job's good.
Thank you. But in battle-wise, he's not brilliant. He's almost designed to be on the board to buff the rest of the Ultramarines, not to get into a fight, because he likes sitting in the back doing spreadsheets. That's what he does. where Fulgrim just likes to go murder people, and it's a little bit different.
Oh no, Fulgrim though. I mean, I'm surprised at my rolling because obviously you've seen it. Usually, with the worst Primarch weapon out there, all it does is rend. It's 2-handed and specialist, not mastercrafted, not shred. And you were really unlucky not to concuss me first. Yeah,
if I'd have concussed you on the first turn, I think that'd have been possibly a little bit of a different outcome, maybe.
And you're rolling with the Scissorin.
Yeah.
It was really hot at the start because you killed all those Terminators. Like, you got loads of 6s. But then against Fulgrim, you just couldn't roll 6s.
Nope. They went shy, which is good for you.
I was so scared after you killed all the Terminators in Chaplain. And it was just Fulgrim left, surrounded by Scissorin, Gulliman, a Praetor, and a Chaplain. I was like, not again.
Fulgrim's going to die. No, he's not.
No, he's stepped up. But he is in melee. He's a beat stick. But he's gone down to combi plasmas before. Because he's only got 5 up invul.
Yeah, if you want to kill a Primarch off, kill him with Bolter Fire.
Yeah.
Rapid Fire, Fury of the Legion, whatever you can do, just Bolter Fire, because they will fall to that.
Weight of dice.
Yeah, it is weight of dice every single time. That will get rid of a Primarch. So, thank you out there for everybody watching this video. I hope you really enjoyed that battle. It was really good fun to play. Please leave us a comment. It'd be great to hear your feedback. What did you think of the dice rolling for Primarch versus Primarch? Was that a good extra feature? Please leave us a like. It does really help out the channel. Massive thank you to Tom for coming back up to my house for a second battle. And as always, guys, we will see you on the next one.